Hey, what's up everyone? PersNikity here. Welcome back to the Uncharted 3 Brutal Difficulty walkthrough. And we're going to be moving on to Chapter 5, which is called London Underground. And so it pretty much, Chapter 4 leads directly into Chapter 5. So you see as soon as you jump down here, that's when the next chapter starts. So you should have recognized this location as the end of Chapter 4. And now we're going to move on. And this chapter here, Chapter 5, is the hardest one that you've faced so far. So, you know, chapters 1 through 3, there was no combat. There was really no gun combat or anything like that. We just basically had to run, climb, solve puzzles, stuff like that. Chapter 4, there was a little bit of gun combat, but not much. It was only 6 enemies, and those enemies were brought to you at 2 enemies at a time. So it was really not that difficult. Chapter 5 changes that. Chapter 5 is the first chapter that really kind of throws you into the shoes of, you know, the gunfighting Nathan Drake. And it can be challenging, especially, you know, brutal difficulty. You can take 1 or 2 hits and you're dead. And so if for whatever reason, if this is the first game you're playing on brutal, it's going to take some getting used to. If you're thinking about taking on the Uncharted games on brutal, remember, brutal difficulty is only offered on Uncharted 1, 2, and 3. And so if you're thinking about playing these games on brutal, my piece of advice would be to start with 1 and just go in order. And that's because, in my opinion, Uncharted 1 is probably the hardest one. And then in my opinion, it goes in order. I think Uncharted 1 is the hardest game on brutal, Uncharted 2 is the next hardest, and then Uncharted 3 is the next hardest. And notice how I say next hardest instead of easiest, because I don't want to use the word easy, because it's not easy. It's still challenging. It's still brutal difficulty. You're still going to want to yell. You're still going to want to throw your controller. But just relative to the other Uncharted games, this one is less difficult. But anyway, yeah, so you're really gonna have to fight a lot of guys here, and the first set of guys is actually about to come up right here. So you're gonna see that there's these soldiers down here, or just guys, and what you can do is you can actually crawl and get behind them and take them out with stealth. But I got a little impatient and I decided to shoot at them with my gun. This was a really bad decision. So you can see how my AI was able to take them both out. But that was a stupid decision on my part. You should probably just go sneak around them and try to take them out with stealth. But, you know, I figured I would leave that footage in there to show you that, hey, if you want to shoot them yourself, why not? Now, the thing about Uncharted games, for you, this is good news. For me, it's kind of annoying news. So the thing is, with Uncharted games, the game is very generous with checkpoints. And sometimes you can get a checkpoint in the middle of a fight without even realizing it, because a lot of these gunfights are composed of numerous waves. And sometimes when you're playing, when you're in the heat of the moment, it's hard to recognize that a new wave is approaching. So it's hard to recognize that you got a checkpoint. So for you, that's good. This is good news, because more checkpoints equals an easier time. For me as a walkthrough maker, it's kind of hard because, you know, ideally I would like to show you the entire firefight from start to finish without me dying. However, I'm not perfect. I die a lot. And so when I die, sometimes I'll unlock these secret checkpoints, and then I have to resume the fight from that checkpoint. And so it makes the walkthrough a lot more choppy and inconsistent. And the problem is, with Uncharted, the way it's set up is you can't just restart the level. If I wanna restart the level, I actually have to play the previous level before I can replay this level. So it's just not worth it. Now, in this video, that's not really going to be a factor. I'm just mentioning it now because it is going to come into play in later levels. So anyway, you're going to come to this area here, and we're going to have a small break from combat. And so relish this while you can, because after this little break I mentioned, it's going to be pretty much full-fledged combat for the rest of the level. And I'll talk about a lot of that, you know, tips for brutal difficulty when we get to that, but for now, go up the stairs here, take a left, and enjoy a short little cutscene.
Hey, over here. No, seriously. Who are these people?
I'm not interested in your excuses. He was a loose cannon, and you should have known.
Yes, it is regrettable, but...
Not regrettable. Sloppy. Your poor judgment could have cost us everything. 400 years of searching. Finally, Drake's secret will be revealed. What is this?
I don't understand.
It's a forgery.
What? That's not possible. I verified it myself. This isn't the ring.
Really?
I held it in my hands. I saw him put it around his neck. This doesn't make sense.
We've been duped.
Cutter.
Uh-huh. You men stand guard and stay alert. We may have been followed. You, come with us. Find them and bring me that ring. I don't care how you get it.
Alright, so after that cutscene, there's going to be 2 guys to take out here. Don't worry, the game basically walks you through it. It's just a couple of easy stealth kills, and when you're in this room here, you can see that there are a ton of artifacts lying around, and so if you're playing this game for yourself, I would definitely recommend exploring the room a bit and just interacting with all of the different artifacts. You learn a little bit of backstory and just some cool things in general. Obviously, you get some more dialogue from the characters and whatnot. For the purpose of this walkthrough, I'm just going to jump straight to what you need to do. So you're going to look for a particular object on a desk, and that will lead you into a slightly longer cutscene. So the desk is going to be pretty much in the center of the room here. So you can see I'm just kind of showing you all the different things you can look at. But go up to this desk right here, press triangle, and you'll get the cutscene.
Look at all this stuff.
Ugh. Nate, focus. We haven't got much time here.
Yeah.
What are you...
My God, do you know what this is?
It's a book, mate. There's a lot of them in here. It's a library.
It's not just any book, wise ass. Belonged to T.E. Lawrence. You know, Lawrence of Arabia.
Yes, I know who he is.
This was mailed from Dorset on the day of his motorcycle accident. May 13th, 1935. They must have killed him once they got their hands on it.
They?
Yeah, they, them, whoever these people are.
Oh, what a lot of rubbish. It was an accident.
Witnesses saw a black car run him off the road.
Guys.
Oh, what? So it was like a big cover-up?
Maybe.
Nate.
What?
That thing that you have been waiting 20 years for?
Right. Okay. Here we go. L-O-H-D-N. Huh.
What is it?
It's long hidden.
What? Shush. No shit, long hidden. Are you kidding me?
No offense, mate, but your ancestor was a right arsehole.
Just shut up. It's an anagram. Golden Hind. The Golden Hind.
Drake's ship.
Yes. It's a clue. It's gotta be something hidden in this room. All right, spread out. See what you can find.
Alright, so now we kind of have our hint of what we're looking for, the Golden Hind. And, you know, if you want to figure it out for yourself, you might want to skip forward a couple minutes so that you don't see, but basically it is the head of this llama up here, this golden head. I think it's a llama, some sort of animal. But anyway, it's right here, and so you're just going to crawl up, and you'll be prompted to press triangle. And so you're going to be led through this little thing here where Drake, you see here, your two guys are going to come in, and you really don't have any cover, so you just got to shoot them as quickly as you can. It's kind of hard. Of course, you'll get a checkpoint right before that, so if you die, it's no problem. But as soon as you kill those two guys, this will happen. You'll fall down, you'll pick up that parchment, and then you'll take cover behind this pillar here. Now, the problem is, you saw how many bullets it took me to take out those two guys, so now I only have about 2 bullets left in my clip, and I got 3 guys shooting at me, and the AI are really not much help in this section. Oh, okay, even worse, I have 1 bullet, so I'm going to try for a headshot to at least get 1 kill, and I missed. So here we go. Best thing you can do in this situation is sneak around the left side and hop up this wall here. And we're actually going to have to use some hand-to-hand combat, and you're going to have to rely on your AIs to protect you and get your back while you're doing this. But you can see here, if you fight the guys at a close enough distance, all of them won't, they usually won't shoot at you, because if they're all huddled together and if you start fighting with your fists, then you have a good chance of them trying to hit you with their fists, and they won't use their guns. So if you don't have any ammo, which you probably won't, that's going to be basically your only approach, is you're just going to have to sneak around and try to take out those guys hand-to-hand combat style. Now, again, using alternative cover, you're going to just, hide at the end of this tunnel here. There's going to be 2 guys that emerge as you try to make your way through it. So don't be fooled by that. Don't run too far ahead or else they'll get you. Pick up their ammo. Now, you're going to come into this large room here. As soon as you get in here, go left and get behind this structure right here and take out this guy. Now, this room is actually really hard because these enemies have a tendency to rush you, and what I mean by that is they will just run straight up to you and start shooting at you, and it really makes things difficult because you can't take cover and you can't really move around a lot because there's a lot of enemies here that will just keep shooting you. So, in my opinion, this pillar is the best place to stand, but you see here, yet again, another soldier just ran straight up to me, and if he was quick enough, he could have shot me, but because I was observant and because I was expecting that, I was ready and I shot him a couple times. Same thing with the guy right here. He charged me, but because I was expecting it, I was able to put a couple rounds in him while he was still running towards me, so that by the time he got up to me, it only took about 1 or 2 hits to drop him. So it's really just all about knowing what to expect in this firefight here. And in all honesty, this first room here that we just cleared, this is the hardest room. You're going to want to pick up this gun here from one of the fallen enemies. It's the Cal 70. It's an automatic rifle or a semi-auto or whatever. But the point is it's a strong weapon, and you're going to want all the weapons you can get. And so now you're going to run into here. And you're going to hop on this train here, and when you do that, that will trigger the next wave of enemies. However, instead of hopping on top of the train, use alternative cover and peek around this pillar here, and you can see that on this train, there's 2 enemies that have emerged. One of them will rush you, one of them will stay on the train. Maybe both of them will rush you, but the point is, this area right here that we're in now, this is a very good area for cover because the enemies cannot flank you from the left side. And you see here, the enemies are going to take the same exact approach. One by one, they're just going to rush me. I don't know what it is about Uncharted 3, but the enemies are much more aggressive in this game. And alternative cover is actually a bit more glitchy in this game, almost as if they tried to work their way around it when they were developing the title. But, I mean, you can see, just one after one, these enemies, like clockwork, they're just rushing me. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to just sit back where it's safe because here the enemies have no chance of flanking me from the side. They can only approach me from one direction. And so if I stay in that location, I'll just let the enemies approach me one by one and take them out. Easy job. Now, once you clear this room, again, you're going to have a brief moment to kind of collect some ammo, look around. There are no grenades in this section or anything, but you can still find a good amount of ammo. And then, once you're ready, you're going to peek around this corner here. Notice how I'm looking over Drake's left shoulder. And you're going to want to hide behind this box here. And now you can see over there the next wave of enemies has spawned. And so I'm going to sit behind this box, looking over Drake's left shoulder using alternative cover. And again, I'm just going to slowly rotate that camera and shoot the enemies one by one. And again, this is just the benefit of alternative cover. You can just rotate that camera so that only one enemy is visible at a time. And if only one enemy is visible at a time, that means only one enemy can shoot at you, for any given time. Now you're going to see that the corridor in front of me is smoke-filled, and that is because some of the enemies, they'll drop those smoke bombs, and all you can see of them is their red. They have like red goggles on, red laser sight. So look out for that and save them for last. If you usually they'll retreat. So usually if you wait long enough, the smoke will go away and they'll just kind of, retreat back. But if you need to kill them, just shoot for their red eyes and you should be able to hit them, no problem. But usually I think it's best to save them for last because obviously they're the harder ones to kill. And yeah, so once you clear that room, now you're going to make your way through another skinny tunnel right here. And notice again just how I'm taking every corner very slowly. I'm turning the corner slowly, and I'm using alternative cover, and I'm switching the viewpoint over Drake's shoulders to give me the best vantage point. Now, you're going to see the video cut here because you will get a checkpoint at this location. As you creep into this room, peek around the corner very slowly, and you'll see this guy run out, kill him because he has a shotgun and he's going to run straight at you. And then you're going to want to shoot that propane tank, and the explosion will kill the guy that is near it, and then boom, there's only 3 guys in this room. It's really not difficult, and plus the fact that you get the checkpoint right beforehand, that makes things really easy. And so now that we're getting into the gun combat, that's kind of something I want to mention. You're going to see the videos throughout this walkthrough have cuts a lot. Like right there was another cut, and I'll usually try to make those cuts as obvious as possible. And then I'll always try to let you know why there was a cut in the video, and particularly I always cut the video where I die because I edit out all my deaths, and so I'll cut the video back to where I last got a checkpoint. And so usually you get a checkpoint before every firefight, and so of course this right here is a brand new firefight, so I got a checkpoint right before it, and so that's why you saw the video cut right before it. And so, I usually like to have my channel as transparent as possible, so anytime I have a cut in the video, I will try to let you know in the commentary where it was that I died or why I cut the video. This part here is really dark, so it's really hard to see me, but notice how I just basically stuck to the right side, and there was a couple boxes that I stood behind while I shot the enemies with alternative cover. It's not a good room, it's not a fun room, but it's just something you got to get through before coming here, which is the train platform. And so now you have a choice. You can either go right or you can go left, and I actually recommend doing both. So what I'm going to do is first you can see how I kind of directed myself towards the right. That way the enemies spawned on the right. And so I killed the enemies that I was able to kill. And so you see here I kind of crept up and made sure that I took care of all the enemies that I could. And now you're going to see there's no more enemies on the right, or at least no more enemies that I can see on the right, but I can tell that there's enemies on the left because I hear them shooting at Cutter. So now I'm going to go left, and this is a good way to kind of sneak around, and you'll see here when I turn this corner, the enemies that just a second ago I couldn't see, now I'll be able to see them. So you see right here, this guy that was hiding here, now I'm able to see him, take him out, and then a couple more enemies are going to run into the room. This guy has a shotgun. The guys with the shotguns usually aren't much of a threat because the shotguns are not that good at long distances. So if you see a guy with a shotgun, you don't have to panic or anything. You can usually just let them get close and then blind fire them. They're actually really easy to kill. It's the guys with the long range weapons that are always going to be your biggest threat. Now right here, you're going to want to equip an assault rifle because you're going to have to do some quick firing. So once you're about a quarter of the way up these stairs, 2 enemies are going to spawn at the top, and you got to take them out as quickly as possible because obviously there's no cover right here, and you're just basically a sitting duck. Now again, the video cut, you get a checkpoint right before coming into this room, and so that's why I cut the video, because I died a lot in this room. But so notice what I'm doing. I took out those first 2 enemies by shooting their heads because their heads were kind of like visible from the behind their cover. So take those 2 guys out. The main thing you want to do here is do not run forward, because once you run up, these enemies are going to appear on the other side of the gate, and they're going to drop the smoke bombs. And once they appear, it's really hard to take them out, and it's really hard to move forward without getting killed. So we're actually going to bypass them entirely. So what I'm doing here is I'm killing every enemy I can before moving up. But now I'm in a position where there's an enemy behind this box here, and he's just not moving. So watch what I do here. I'm going to sprint up, There go the smoke bombs. I'm going to ditch to the left. I'm going to shoot this guy as fast as I can, and then boom, he's down, and the smoke guys can no longer shoot me because I'm protected by this tunnel here. So that's a way to completely bypass those smoke enemies. And now for the very last part, you're going to run over here. You can't open the door just yet, so turn around. One enemy is going to be chasing you. Make sure you kill him, and then you can retreat back to the gate to the end of the level. So thanks for watching, everyone. Like and subscribe if you get the chance, and I will see you in the next chapter.
Back up, back up!
Come on!
Get in! Go, go!
So then the guy says, well, you better tickle mine, too, because now I gotta catch the goddamn thing.
Cheers.
To a job, well done.
Yeah.
Are you going to join us, darling?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the map proves it. Drake didn't screw around in the East Indies for 6 months. He sailed straight through and headed to Arabia.
Right.
But here's where it gets interesting. You see this mark? This is John Dee's signature.
Who the hell's John D?
John Dee, one of Queen Elizabeth's closest advisors. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, he was a great mathematician and navigator. Way ahead of his time. He's probably the one who invented that.
Seriously into the occult. I mean, like a really creepy dark
See,
way.
he signed all his letters to the Queen with this symbol, meaning he was her eyes.
The original 007, you see, look, 007.
Not really that relevant.
So it was John Dee who sent Drake to Arabia.
Yeah, it looks that way. Dee and Elizabeth.
And Walsingham.
Great, but what for?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And this is where T.E. Lawrence comes in. See, before Lawrence became Lawrence of Arabia,
Great film.
he was an archaeologist. And even when he was just a kid, he was obsessed with history, everything to do with knights and the Crusades. And he traveled all over, documenting every Crusader site he could find. It's all in here.
All right, you've lost me completely, kid. What the hell has this got to do with Drake?
I'm getting to that. See, after the war, Lawrence said that if he were ever to go back to Arabia, it would be to search for this place he called the Atlantis of the Sands. Now, the legend crops up over and over again under different names. Ubar, Aram of the Pillars, the City of Brass. But the story is always the same.
Oh, city of immeasurable wealth, destroyed by God for its arrogance, swallowed forever in the sands of the Rubel Khali Desert.
Right here.
Well, I like the immeasurable wealth part anyway.
And you think this is what Elizabeth and Dee sent Drake after?
Oh, yeah. And more importantly, it's what Marlowe is after.
So, wait, if Drake was on a mission from the Queen to find this place, why all the secrecy? I mean, it looks like he went to a lot of trouble to hide whatever he found, even from Her Majesty.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was that?
No, hang on a second, because if you recall, the last time we went halfway around the world searching for a lost city, things got more than a little dicey.
Yeah, but this time we have the upper hand. I mean, look, Drake only had half the clues. Lawrence only had half. We have both. And Marlowe has nothing.
Small problem. The Rubel Khali Desert, 600 miles across. The Bedouin go around the damn thing.
And even if we knew where it was, which we don't, we would die trying to find
Just
it.
hold on. You see these symbols here?
Yeah? Looks like Sabaean script.
Right. Look, the Crusaders were searching for the same lost city 1,000 years ago. But out of all the sites Lawrence documented, only 2 are marked with these symbols. One in Syria, the other in France. Oh. No, you 2 are going to Syria. We're heading to France. Look, we track down these clues. We find Lawrence's lost city. I'm sure of it.
Well, and then what? How are we going to get across 600 miles of impassable wasteland?
Well, it's in the middle of the desert. So technically, it'd be about 300 miles. Look, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We burn that bridge when we get to it, eh?
Exactly. What do you say?
What the hell?
Let's do it.